questions before, and that helps to understand that at least you are contemplating and reflecting and listening to it. So if you are doing it regularly, it will help you. To goal of the Eastern wisdom definitely is twofold. One is bring an end to the suffering once and for all. Second, awaken to the true nature. What is that true nature? We will talk in detail in the following session, but just to make you aware of that, that real self is eternal. What is the meaning of eternal? It existed in the past, it continues to exist in the present, it exists in the future. First characteristic. Second, I am referring another text, so it will make you understand. Second is that it is truth. What is the truth? Truth does not change. So what never changes does not have a shape, name, and the form. Second characteristic. Third, because it does not have a name in the form, and it lives beyond the time, that is why it has to be all pervading. So we say the real self or the pure consciousness is all pervading. But we have to intellectually prove it, and then we have to realize it. It's not a dry philosophy. It's not a philosophy, it's a darshan, it's a perception that you recognize, you experience that you are all pervading. Fourth characteristic is that it cannot be objectified. What do you mean by objectification? It cannot become the object of the mind. Little difficult at this time, but as we follow the process, you will understand. The fifth one, it is neither a doer nor an experiencer. Why? It is complete in itself. It is of the nature of permanent peace and happiness. Is the sugar running after a lot of things to find where is the sweetness? If the sugar recognizes the sweetness is its nature. And the sixth is it cannot be modified. Why it cannot be modified? It remains constant. So that is the goal. So when we recognize one, we realize our perception about who I am, what is the real self, and what is the existence, then we really understand all the gods of all the religions also easily. Yesterday I just wanted to visit, there is a temple, name of the temple of the religious church. They didn't allow me to go inside. Oh, very well suited, white and sparkly, white in color. They said, do you believe in Jesus? I said, yes. No, but you have to prove to me that you believe in Jesus. I said, no, I'm not going to prove to any human being. No, then we won't allow. I said, that's okay, that's all. We don't follow that approach. We don't follow that approach. Oh, there is some sect is there. So it's okay, it's a part of the life. I enjoyed, I was laughing, and I asked them the question and I returned. We don't have that idea and understanding. We will answer each and every, we will make it valid in your life. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. I'm not criticizing anyone. There is no need. So now, so you know the exact, what is my true nature. So when I know my nature, I don't identify falsely with anything. There is no false identification. There is no mistaken identity. So when there is no mistaken identity, there is no impurity of mind, there is no ignorance, there is no suffering at all. I am your husband. Why don't you listen to me? husband in relation to a girl or a woman. That is a part, a very fractional part of your life. How longer you think that you're a husband? When you need your wife, for example. Otherwise, or the same thing applies to the wife also. You are my husband, why you are staring at her? As if, my eyes should keep on listening, keep on looking at only you, not any other. Do you see, this is a mistaken identity? And that mistaken identity causes the problem of relationship. So we construct a false identity based on our body, mind, emotions, roles, possessions, accomplishment. So in the mind we have those millions of impressions, millions and trillions of impressions, but this constantly changes, leading to insecurity and the suffering. So we not only we understand it clearly, we get rid of it. Take an example. Now I am a boss. Boss means what? In truth, I am much more than my profession. So this is the mistaken identity. There are many ways of mistaken identity. I always live reactively. You know what happens when you realize and when you don't realize the real self. So when you don't realize the real self, we live reactively. Tell me openly, truthfully, frankly, because you react, you are living reactively. That is why you have a problem of suffering. Don't tell me that you don't live reactively. Not possible. Without knowing the real self, we lack a stable inner anchor. Are you getting it? We lack a stable. Who is that? Who is that? Who am I? I don't know. But I pose myself to be different. So we live reactively, influenced easily by external situations and how people treat us. I have my own image. I have created my image about myself. And someone says you are crazy, and then I start proving that I am not crazy. So in order to prove that, I get angry without anything. This session you have to contemplate and reflect a lot. How many times you react, living reactively, getting upset and angry because of your mistaken identity. No, I'm not crazy. So you have already proved that you are crazy. Do you see that? We lack awareness. If someone says crazy, oh, I'm more crazy than you think, Thank you very much. You have recognized today, but I have recognized many years ago. Living reactively, I'm just saying you. Seeking validation, that is another way of mistaken identity. I seek validation from you, from the society, from the honey, from the relationship. We constantly seek to validate our self-image through material possessions and relations. Praise and status. But this validation is fleeting, my friend. Posting on a social media is another way of validation, to get likes and boost your self-esteem. One guy who is a CEO of some company and who sent a request to me to connect to him. But then he said, I was a former monk in the tradition of Buddhism, and I see that you are teaching also from the Buddhism. I want to connect. I said, let me correct you. Once a monk, you are always a monk. Monk is not a label. Monk is a realization, a state of consciousness. So now I see that 3 days he did not respond. We create a mistaken identity. Unnecessary. Even if you write without being a former monk, I will respond to you. Don't look at him, he is my husband. Mistaken identity. If he is smart, let everyone look at him. Are you all thinking? Yes, you should think and contemplate. You have those events in your life, I can bet you. Don't say no. You cannot say no, because we have a mistaken identity. We are living in mistaken identity. Don't open up, but think and contemplate. Get rid of this. Seeking validation. What is that meaning? You are trying to fill a leaky bucket. It will never be possible. And that's why you get frustrated. Because in seeking a validation, you already have sense of hollowness and emptiness in you. We are trying to fill the leaky bucket, not possible. Then we have a mistaken identity based on the fear. Fear-based. We make decisions from a place of fear and insecurity rather than wisdom. Tell me if it is not. You did not, or you did that. When you communicate to your near and the dear ones from a place of fear and insecurity, there is bound to be problem. Do whatever you want to do. Make a big claim. It will not sustain. Mistaken identity. That is what Eastern wisdom says, find your true nature. Live in your true nature. That is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Step by step. Make a decisions from a place of fear, insecurity, rather than wisdom. We are anxious about protecting the false identity. And what happens? We avoid the risk or the new opportunities in our life because of fear or failure. I don't want to make a statement, but I'm making it. It does not mean that your mind says, I have proved, now I am going to part with. No, I have to analyze and experience, I have to contemplate and reflect. So there are people who divorce because of the fear and the insecurity. That is a problem. Now I am making a statement what I wanted to make. Staying in a bad relationship because of the fear of being alone. That too is a problem. How do you know that? I know a lot of things, I know a lot. Another mistaken identity is caught in a duality. Without self-knowledge, we get caught in the world of duality. Pleasure and the pain, likes and dislikes, profit and the loss. We get tossed around by these dualities. We feel depressed when something bad happens, feeling elated when I receive a praise. Oh, you are bold. Stand up and fight. So we are ready to fight. We don't apply the wisdom. Are you getting it? Mistaken identity. I'm just talking about the mistaken identity. Any mistaken identity is going to create lot of problems. We focus on having. We constantly try to accumulate and acquire in order to enhance our self-image. What Bill Gates has to do to create a self-image, everyone knows. So everyone knows all of us. Our next door neighbor knows all of us. And still we create a self-image. Come on, I have this, I have that. And we are frustrated. And then we say, my neighbor is crazy because he did not appreciate or she did not appreciate the way I have created my self-image. I invited my neighbors for a group dinner that I invite a lot of people, and knows that I used to invite, even in New Jersey, at least once or twice a year, all my students and other friends. No, I am very busy. Thank you very much. You are busy, then remain busy. Not interested. Oh, thank you. No, I can understand that. People are very busy in the modern world. Busy for what? Busy to have these mistaken identities, to continue to live in suffering. Tell me if it is not a fact. We depend too much on external factors. We develop our dependence on the situation, on the people, on the objects, on the relations for our happiness. That is the biggest problem. I had a private session, so she was telling me that, but now I know that my husband doesn't love me. I said, why you are craving for love? Dependence. As long as you are dependent, you create an image in your mind that I should depend. And what is that dependence? The way you speak and think, that will prove that you love me. If you don't think and speak the way I have created an image, you love me, then you don't love me. Are you getting it? 99% problem will be resolved if we drop our mistaken identity. Dependence, we develop our dependence on the relations, situation, people, objects for happiness and for even confidence. Now what happens if I depend on you? It gives away my power of conviction. Why should I depend on you? But it does not mean that I don't care you, I don't love you. Two things, having dependent and having a mutual respect. Apply the same logic here. A dependency, needing alcohol, drug to relax and feel confident. It will make you addicted. That is what happens in emotional relationships. It makes me addicted. Oh, today you did not appreciate me. I was having a new dress. I use, $200 cosmetics, and you didn't appreciate me. I have a haircut. That's why I don't have a haircut. You see, be very open to it. I'm not settled in myself. Limited. So what happens? All these mistaken identities have a limited perspective about my life. I get trapped in a narrow personal perspective that is preventing me to know the higher self. Because now I know who am I. I'm surrounded by a lot of focus on having, dependence on externals, you know. And I told you in the very beginning what mistaken identity, living reactively, all these together have created a false I. And then I blame others in the world that I'm suffering. No, you are suffering because of yourself. You are responsible for your suffering. Prove it wrong. See the beauty of understanding. So when we create a limited perspective, I hide my real self. I cannot see the bigger picture. I always see my life from a very narrow point of view. I don't appreciate the larger perspective in the world about my life. My master used to narrate a story about the frog. Frog was living in a well. Do you know the story? So anyhow, the flood came and the well was overflooded, and a fish from the ocean, from the river, from the ocean, entered into the well. Frog asked, "Where you live?" "I live in a ocean." "What is the size of a ocean?" Frog asked. The fish said, this high. So frog jumped from one side of the well to the other. "Oh, is this big?" "No, it is bigger than that." So he jumped again, and while jumping he died. He lived in the narrow perspective. Unless I break this false, mistaken identity, I cannot find my real self. No, keep smiling. Yeah. We always live in a very limited perspective. My husband said this, my wife said this. Unnecessary. And we continue to live in that perspective. We continue to suffer. Our tears in the society with lot of our friends prove that you are right. We don't recognize our limited perspective in life. And that is how we continue suffering. We enjoy suffering. We give it an importance. You see, my honey is like this, with such a sad face. So everyone has to pay sympathy to you, and sympathy doesn't bring anything. Our tone of the voice or expression changes. And if one gives a positive signal, "Oh, you are right," then he or she becomes our good friend. So from one mistaken identity we have two, and that is how we form the society. So that is why I started that. So it is because of the mistaken identity. There are three factors. Now you see the three factors: the impurities at the outer layer, the projection at the second layer, and the ignorance at the third layer. All these three layers contain these mistaken identities, and behind that there is a real nature. So we have to start removing that impurities in our mind. But I also talked about it, that we are together because you had certain positive past impressions that you have. That is why you are tolerating and listening to this journey of the Eastern wisdom. So that is what we covered last time. And ultimately we said what we said: the practice remains fruitless without purification. I keep my mistaken identity. I do the lot of practice of meditation. It is available on the internet, on the Google. So as long as I'm in the practice of meditation, I feel very good. The moment I come out of the meditation, my false identity takes over. Now the meditation is left. That is why it is important to understand and to have the right knowledge. Are you getting it? Say yes, even if you don't get it. I'm already recording, so you can listen to it again. You see that practice remains fruitless without purification of the mind. And that is why I covered that, there are 3 levels of understanding. One is real, I discussed about it. One is false, and one is unreal. Unreal don't exist. Unreal don't exist. The false means it appears real, but it is not. Like mirage water, like all the mistaken identities we have. Like all the mistaken identities, it appears real to me. You oppose me, still it appears real. You appreciate my mistaken identity, still obviously it appears real. Are you getting it? This point is very important. You discard my mistaken identity and I fight with you in order to keep that identity. So I have a frustration, but I still keep my self-identity, self-image. You approve that mistaken identity. You said, yes, you are right, your honey is really crazy. That's why you have been living with him or her for the last 25 years. Are you making a joke? If you come to me, then I will I will blast on you. We cook a very good story of mistaken identity. So our story of the false never dissolves. And that creates a thought, speech, and action, the entire structure in our life, daily life, which causes lot of suffering. That suffering includes your anger, your reaction, your duality, your conflict, your self-image, your frustration, your depression. I can go on. All elements of the suffering has to do with this. I can tell you. Now, if you look from a wiser perspective, you recognize, oh, this is everything is created by me. I have created a hell in my life and I can get rid of it. But it is not so easy. That is why we are following a step-by-step process to do that. Close your eyes. Sorry to be, I'm not tough, I'm just talking about what is Eastern wisdom. Why should I be tough on you? Why should I lose you? So eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. We are going deeper into one practice, and every time I give you a different perspective of that. Your eyes are closed. The first step is being comfortable. Why? Because I want to raise my level of awareness. Why? Because that heightened state of awareness, I can recognize my false identity, my friend. Looking inside or being comfortable is to rise in awareness and looking within. At the outer level, at the surface level, we say look at the neck joint, being there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Move the mind on the shoulder joints, be there, feel the sensation, comfort and steadiness. Move the mind on the entire body, from the top of the head to the toes. Feel the sensation and comfort and steadiness. You know, the moment you rise in awareness, that mistaken identity drops with reference to the body and you become comfortable. You don't practice to become comfortable. Pay attention. It means what? You can be comfortable at any time. When you don't recognize the mistaken identity as you, you're always comfortable. In every situation, in any condition, in any relationship. Being carefree is another step. That is why now you see I have explained being comfortable and being carefree in more than 50 different ways. You have to go to the past files. Being carefree, I said, thoughts are not you. Another way to say thoughts are different from you. For the sake of understanding during the journey means that let the thought come and go. Another way to understand that all these thoughts are separate from you. And every thought contains a mistaken identity, supported by the emotions and the feeling and the past impressions. So what you do, the way you watch the traffic on the road, standing across the road, so you watch the thoughts. First time you become aware that these thoughts which creates a mistaken identity are not you. And the moment you have a slight awareness that these thoughts are not you, you will find that you are not only rise in awareness, you are not only detached, and you find such a peaceful state instantly. So what happened? Practice without knowledge is fruitless, or practice without purification is fruitless. That is the principle we covered briefly today. But we continue our journey. So now we replace, we don't fight and we don't control the thought. We replace the thoughts of mistaken identity with the real knowledge. And that is why I say the mantra, look inside. Look inside. We may say asato ma sat gamaya. Mentally you repeat yourself. It's better, it's good to repeat. It's a Sanskrit verse, because anything new you learn, it triggers your brain. Science says, why don't you trigger the brain? You have to raise your level of awareness and attention. Asato ma sat gamaya. Asato ma sat gamaya. What it means, now we go to the meaning. Moving, let me move from the false to the real. So now I have already recognized the false identity. It is because of the false identity my mind is wandering, my friends. We should understand it clearly. I have a lot of thoughts only because of this. Believe me. So moving from the false to Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya. Moving from the darkness to the light. Darkness means mistaken identity, impurities, ignorance. To light. Light means wisdom. The knowledge does not discriminate any event, any situation, any relationship. Why we say Eastern wisdom is the knowledge of the self. Knowledge remains knowledge. Sunlight remains the sunlight. It illuminates every object, irrespective of its shape, size, cost, quality. That is the power of the knowledge. You see how Eastern wisdom defines that knowledge. So we are getting that knowledge which is not available in the science. Mrityorma amritangamaya, Mrityorma amritangamaya, Mrityorma amritangamaya. Where means moving from the death to the immortality. So here the master defines the death means we die every day because of the mistaken identity. Today I am frustrated, tomorrow I am upset, day after I have a problem with my relations, fourth day I feel frustrated because no one appreciated me, and continue. That is how we pass the entire week being so busy. That is the death. We die every day. To the immortality means that I recognize my real self. Real self is immortal all the time. I already explained the 6 characteristics. The mind does not calm down so easily. We have created millions and trillions of impressions in our mind of the mistaken identity. What should I do? Think that is your mind motivated. Look inside the forehead in the space. Say Om Shanti there at a regular interval with a pause. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, and then start breathing quick, short, and the gentle breath from both the nostrils into the rib cage. Just continue and see that you continue without interruption. So when you do it for a little longer time, what happens? What happens? Simple thing happens. That your mind gets purified. It lives into a new and higher awareness. Sometime it may happen for people in 2 minutes of breathing. Sometime it takes even 10 minutes of the breathing. So when we continue doing it, we can recognize it did not happen. Let it happen. Just continue. So there are 2 parts of it. You enter into a new experiences. You enter into a new experiences. Other part, that you have a resistance. So when there is a resistance, you endure the resistance, but continue doing it. That is the way to succeed. Continue doing it. My friends, you're doing the breathing, gentle and shorter breath, but you also continue to drop the Om Shanti inside the forehead and you keep the body steady. So you see that we have expanded the mind in 3 directions. The physical level is the steadiness. Inner mental level is the Om Shanti, and the breathing. Continue dropping gentle in the short breath, and that is going to change the mind. We experience a different state, and when we experience the different state, Om Shanti continues. Continue that. You have a variety of experiences, tingling, numbness. Sometimes you feel, oh, my head is expanding. No worries, it's okay. For you all are seekers, so no worries. And now stop it. Today we did it for 3 minutes. We'll continue to increase it to have a deeper experience. Not only that step, but many more steps. Now, look at the entire head and the neck and experience sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the left arm. Mentally, you are looking at the left arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the right arm, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the rib cage, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the right leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the left leg, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. Look at the entire body, sensation, relaxation, and stillness. And then we take the mind deeper within. You look at the breath and start breathing little, deep, silent, and slow. Deep, silent, and slow. And as we have done last time, I want to keep the practice same, but I gave you a deeper understanding so that your mind gets tuned to it. So when you are breathing deep, silent, and slow, you are aware of the movement of the belly that expands, then the chest expands during inhalation, and during exhalation they squeeze. Now, as you inhale, you drop 3 Om Shanti during inhalation and 3 Om Shanti during exhalation. On the track of the breath you drop, keeping the body steady. Why we are doing it? We want to help the mind to go deeper, to rise in awareness, a deeper level of awareness, to be too far from the mistaken identities that we have created. They become habitual in our personality. Body still, breath deep, silent, and slow. 3 Om Shanti on the breath. We are dropping it. And now you drop to Om Shanti. The breath is the same, deep, silent, and slow. Are we tricking the mind? Consciously, answer is yes. Why we are tricking the mind? To change the mind, to remove the impurities, to make it very simple. And now only one Om Shanti, long and deep as the breath is. Mentally you are singing with a deep, silent, and slow breath. Om Shanti. When inhalation ends, Om Shanti. When exhalation ends. And now do nothing, allow the breath to be normal. Now, in that state of calmness, when the mind is withdrawn inside, pay attention, just be aware of the breath that is coming and going. Just a normal breathing pattern, there is no change. In that state only, you can enter into the state of mindfulness. We have purified the mind, we have dropped the mistaken identity, and we normally think that, oh, let me focus on the breath, I will reach there. I have seen not possible by anyone, but we talk in detail, talking a lot about it. 1 minute of mindfulness, or 2 minutes, and 3 minutes. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both your palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside your palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences, and if you have any question, you're welcome to ask the question. How are you, Sophie?
Hi, Girish. I'm good, thank you. I had a good meditation.
Yes.
I didn't fall asleep.
Yes.
But my mind didn't register. We had to do the Om Shanti while breathing fast.
Yes.
So,
yes.
But okay, I got to do that. I have a question. So what is the difference between if you become aware of your false self and the reason why you are suffering?
What will happen?
What is the difference between doing it with the Eastern wisdom and, for instance, going to see a psychotherapist?
Psychotherapist always works and adjusts your mistaken identity and helps you to live with the same false identity so that you are adjusted in the society, in the relationship, because they do not have any concept or philosophy how to transcend the mind. Their mind in modern psychology is a reality, and the mind is in stress, so we can manage our stress. So we say, don't manage your stress, transcend the stress. Second, there are a lot of differences. Mind and the mental consciousness is the same. In modern psychology, we say the consciousness and the mind are different, separate. Mind is just an instrument of the consciousness. That is the beauty of the understanding. And once you understand that you are the consciousness, you are not the mind, and all the problems of ignorance and suffering belongs to the mind. So there, the awakening, difference between awakening and adjustment is there. How are you?
Thank you.
Yeah. How are you, Charlie? Charlie has been thinking a lot. Good.
I have. Well, during this meditation, I felt that I got all these like really strange sensations, like my body just got big and then small and then disappeared and then came back. And then at the end of the meditation, I heard the words, but my mind was somewhere else, and I was like, oh, I better come back. And I made myself come back, but it was really weird. Like, I could hear your words, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, that's
but
really.
My mind wasn't busy doing something else. It just went.
Yeah, the mind does not leave the ideas, thought, impressions, feeling of the mistaken identity. That's why the mind is doing something else. But at the same time, you did good meditation where the mind entered into a new state of awareness, where you find the body has, at least, it shows that, indicates that you're separate from the body, becoming small, and the big, and you are still there. You're still there, very existent. So that is how these experiences should remain. We should remain aware of, and we should continue to do it. Second point is that we should not be scared of these experiences. We should withstand it. Then the mind definitely is going to go deeper. It's a beautiful. How are you, John?
Hey, Girish, I'm fine. I think I had an experience similar to Charlie's,
Good.
where I hear what's going on, and I know I'm not listening for the fire alarm or something like that.
Very good.
Otherwise, it's all right.
Yeah. So you just have a cognition. You know, in modern psychology, we say we should have a cognitive ability. Every human being, and because of that ability recognized by the modern psychology, they have CBT. Do you know CBT? Cognitive behavior therapy. So that cognitive behavior therapy lives in the mind. So what we are saying, that you should have a right cognition. So on the back of your mind, you and Charlie, you know that you are very much here. There is something, there is some awareness that you are already there, here and now. Even if whether you are listening or not, we want to find that entity, and that entity is the real self. That is not possible by the modern psychology. So how do you meet?
Oh yes, I feel calm and quiet, but I don't think I understand what the mind is. Why do we have to have it?
Oh, very good. If you don't have a mind, you are just like a mouse. You're like a smartphone. You're like a building.
What is the purpose of the mind in
To evolve, to become a good person, to make a right choice, to evolve. If the mind is not there, I cannot distinctively analyze what is good and better, what is good and bad. It is only the mind that can recognize it, that has a cognitive ability. But still the mind is an instrument of the pure consciousness, which is our real self.
Yeah.
So first we have to take care of this instrument, and then we have to find the real self.
Okay.
Just brief. How are you, Anne?
Thank you.
I feel very quiet and peaceful, and I felt very good through the meditation, and I was so sure I was paying everything. I was paying attention to every word of yours. And suddenly I realized when you were quiet that I must have dozed off. I woke up.
Oh. Very good. That's another way.
I must have missed everything.
No, it's another way that
nothing bothered me otherwise.
Nothing bothered you. So it means that your mind lives with that attention during the practice. And when I kept quiet, you may have thought that you dozed off because you're not listening. Maybe possible that you maintained awareness.
Maybe.
So that is how, we have to analyze our experiences. Beautiful. Thank you, my friends. And that is all for today. We will meet again next week. Thank you.